Okay, last class we used the for loop, while loop. Okay, you want to iterate your program or some statement, then you can use for the while loop. But in the while loop also you can use to continue and break. Okay, use the example. This is a while loop. Declare at count int set count equal 5. Then while condition is checked, then begin the number of you can have okay multi-line. Okay, more than one line. You can use the begin and end. Then execute. This loop run until the count variable reach the 0, and the output from this code is the flow count 5, 4, 3, 1. Okay, this is a small example, but you can use your thing. Okay. The convert function is used to convert the value from one type to another. For example, convert in varchar at count. This is the variable. Okay, already I mentioned. If you add the at sign in the SQL, this is the count is the variable. Convert the print statement. The continue statement start the next iteration of the while loop immediately. Okay, skip the remain part of the loop. Okay, bottom of the loop. Immediately go to the beginning of the loop. Okay, the continue statement is execution to jump back to the start of the loop. Okay, start to the beginning of that while loop. Okay, the following examples of the while loop that use the continue statement to start the next iteration of the loop if the count variable is equal to 2. Okay, this is the example. It is skip for that. Okay, for the count 2, it is skip. Declare at count int, declare at count equal 5, while at count greater than 0. Begin print. That's the print the count. The inside another condition is there at count, that variable as count equal 2. Then you reduce the another one. Okay, and continue. Not print for the this 2, immediately go to the beginning of the loop. Okay, not then here. Then you can get this is the result 5, 4, 3, 1. Okay, now today is okay. The output of the code is this. Okay, you will notice that the display of the count 2 is missing. Okay, this is because the continue statement skip that iteration. Now break. You use the break statement to end the while loop in immediately. Immediately skip that loop. Okay, exit the loop. Therefore, we use the break. Okay, some situation want to need, then you can use this the break statement. The following example show while loop that use the break statement to end of the loop in the count variable is equal to. Now you can see here. Okay, then if condition is there, here is the while condition is there, it reduce 1 by 1. Okay, this count equal count minus 1 is the decrease. Then if count is 2, then begin, break, end. Then immediately exit. Okay. Then you can get the results as a 5, 5, 4, 3. Okay. Now they're using the label and the go to statement. Then you can use the label and jump your code in one place to another place. Then you can use for the go to statement. You can put the label and go to that. Okay, you use the go to statement to jump to specify the label in your code. You use a label to identify a statement in your code. Okay, you must define the label before issuing the go to that label. Okay. First, you want define that label. Okay, define the label and you use the go to statement. Go to that label. Before I show you to detail to the go to statement, you should be aware that it's used to consider the poor programming practice, and you should avoid it if at all possible. Okay, not necessary to always you don't use this label and go to. Okay, it is usually possible to structure code so that you don't need to use the go to statement. Okay, but you want to know you can use this the go to statement also, but not possible. Okay, don't use always. Okay, as I mentioned, the go to statement require that you create the label in your program. First, you want to create the label. After you can get write the statement. Go to this particular label place. Okay, you do this by placing the identifier contain the label name. Okay, if you code followed by the colon. Okay, then your label name, then you code the colon. The following example, create a label name, my label. Okay, name as a my label. After you put the double, colon. Then my label is the colon. Then the SQL, TSQL mention this is the label. Okay. You may then use the go to statement to jump to that label for example. Then you can use that go to my label, like then it is go to that. Okay, go to my label. Immediately go for that particular place, particular line. Now you can see here this example. Okay, here is the declare that count is int, set count is 5, my label. Okay, label is here. Print count. Okay, convert. That is the what is the count is there now 5. Then it is print here. Then add count equal at count minus 1. Here is a decrease 1 by 1. Okay, if count greater than 0, begin go to my label. Okay, I'm not using here any condition. While loop not here, but I use the begin go to my label. Then if already always I mentioned if the any code is execute top to bottom. Okay, left to right and top to bottom read. Then execute this here, label also read the label, everything. Okay, now if print is 5, decrease by 1, 5. Sorry, 5 minus 1, 4. Then now is check this count. Okay, condition. If count is 4, okay, greater than 0, then begin, go to label, then immediately go this place and print this count, how much now is a 4. Again, 3. Then add count greater than 0, okay, 3 is greater than 0. Then execute this, go to label, again, go this my label. Okay, this place. Okay, then count is now is the 4, 3. Okay, 3 and count minus 1 is the 2. Check this, okay, greater than 0. Then execute this, go to my label. Okay, then print that 2. Count minus 1 is a 1. 1. Then is 1 also greater than 0. Then go to this label and print 1. Again check count equal count minus 1. Count is 1. 1 minus 1, 0. Then not satisfy this condition. Then exit the loop. Okay, sorry, exit this code. Okay, then we use the go to state. Go to my label. Okay, this is the We define this here as a label. This is the point. Okay, if you go to this label, there's a execute start for here immediately. Okay, they are not execute here. When you put that label is a hold to my label, then we can repeat. Okay, previous we use for the while loop is check the condition and go again. But here without while loop also you can use for this label to continue. Okay, repeat some. Okay. The jump from this code is the as follow. Count 5, count 4, count 3, 2, 1. Okay. Using return statement. Okay, you use the return statement to exit from a store procedure or groups of statement also. You can exit that group of statement. Any statement that follow your return are not exit. You can say you can also return the value using the return statement. Return some value, so you can use the return statement. The syntax is the return statement as follow is a return. Okay, this is the expression with the expression. When in expression is any expression that value to the integer, okay, and in value, integer value. Now you can hear this is the example. You can return a value only when using the return statement with the store procedure. The following example show the use of return statement. Now declare for one variable as an integer type. I count is an integer type, set that value is a 5. While loop, the condition is there at count greater than always greater than 0. Execute this statement. Print that value, set the count again, count minus 1, decrease 1, okay, by 1. If count is 2, begin return. Okay, then you can exit that thing. Okay, previous we used for the break. Break also immediately exit. Here also if you use the return statement, you exit that loop. That also you can use. Okay, this is a small example. You can use this return for your appropriate place to your program. Okay, therefore you won't need to know for the fundamental of this TSQL. Okay, what are the command is there, then you can use. Okay, again I explain. Okay, first you want to declare the variable because variable will be value is going to change. Therefore, we use the variable here. Okay, set at count. That first want to initialize that variable as a 5. Then here is I use the while loop. Okay, while loop. Then condition is the at count. That's variable greater than 0. Execute the begin and end is here. Begin and end up to execute this here. Okay, but in here we have a multi statement. Okay, print that variable again, set that variable decrease by 1. If at count is equal to begin return. If you set that count, this condition is satisfied, execute this one. Otherwise, not execute this if condition. Okay, if part. If block. Okay, we call this if block, not execute if block. Then at count minus 1. Then execute. Then check that if you 2, okay, then immediately return, exit the loop. Okay, that's a return statement. Wait for statement. Okay, this one also you can give. There are times when you want to program to pause before running some code. Okay, to perform a specific action, such as running a batch program at night to update the customer record. Okay, every day now is it been possible is that 24 hours the banking customer can do any transaction. Okay, already I mentioned the transaction is any changes happen in your record, okay, the database record. Then that's what we call the transaction. Okay, the previous is a banking. Okay, before 2 years, like banking not function for the night time, only daytime. Then they can do that update or backup their records, their database. Then they can do use for this the wait for. Okay, wait for the statement particular time won't execute. Okay, we can give some time or the particular time period. Okay, interval or time. They use the wait for statement to specify a time interval or time to wait until continue the execution of the code. Okay, then you can give some particular time. Okay, before 20 years ago, then the night time want to back up their database, update the customer record. Then they can put that if 7 o'clock is there, they'll back up the record. Okay. Now is the syntax for the wait for statement as follow: wait for delay, time interval, time or time actual time. Time interval means you can give the wait. Okay, after 10 minutes, then execute the particular statement. Execute the particular statement, then you can use for the wait for delay. That time interval is the second. Okay, or time. Now is the time is 9:22. Then you can give for the 9:25 want to execute that. Then that particular statement is going to execute. Okay, you can specify the time interval to wait for the delay keyword, or you can specify the actual time to wait until using the time keyword. Now you can specify the time interval, actual time in the format as a 24 hours format. Time interval. Okay, in the H is the hours. You can give for the hours, minutes, second. This is the time interval want to wait. Oh, here some examples there. Wait for delay. Wait for delay. Okay, want to delay for only 5 seconds. Wait for time interval of the 5 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds. Then wait for delay. This is a keyword. If you wait for time mean, then you can mention for the 24 hours format the time. Okay, 9:25 want to execute. Then it's 9:24 or 25. Wait for delay. This is the here. This is the wait for delay. It won't wait for the interval 23 hours. Here 23 and 10 minutes 25 seconds. Okay, 25 seconds. Wait for time. Then if you use that wait for time, then this is the particular time. It's the night 8 o'clock, 8:15, 10 seconds. Until wait 10 seconds after 20:15. That's a PM mean PM. That's a, using this the 24 already. You know the 24-hour format. 24 hours 0 to up to 23 to 59. Okay, the midnight is the 0:00. Okay, this is the evening, night 8:15. 10 seconds. Okay, then here you can see here wait for delay. This is the time interval. You can give the 24-hour time interval and wait for time. Okay, wait for time. The every night want to do something. This 8:15 want to do something. Okay. For example, some program. Okay, some video programs they want to record. That program start for the 8:20 or 8:30 like night 8:30. Then you can put that as a start that recording for that particular program. Then after recording want to stop, then you can put that as a stop. Then wait for after 30 minutes. Okay, that program is 30 minutes, sometimes. Okay, for example, you are unable to attend my lectures. You have some other work. Then you want to record my Zoom class. Then you can start the 9 o'clock. Okay, I will finish for the 11 o'clock or 10:30 like. Then you can put this after 30 minutes or 1 hour, 30 minutes on to stop the recording. Then you can use for the wait for that, then delay. Okay, wait for time, start like, then delay for after doing something. Okay, this is the way you can use that. Okay, use the wait for statement. The following example, print the message after 5 seconds have elapsed. Begin wait for delay side. Okay, then print 5 seconds have the elapsed. Okay. Now you can do that in your this example also. Okay, now I put here. Okay, after 5 seconds, you can see here what are the output. No results is there. After 5 seconds is okay. Get the output. Wait for delay only 5 seconds. Print this statement. Okay, some automated things, that thing they can do this like, okay, something is happened, want to print, okay, print or some work, only tasks want to execute for the after one is finished, after 5 minutes want to pack. Okay, for example, in the jacket factory, want to fill that jacket. Okay, it is moved for the particular time, then you want to pack. Okay, they are using the sensor also, sometimes give the time. Particular time on the pack. That's it. Then you can use for the wait. Okay, wait for delay. Wait for delay. Okay, this is the 24 format. Okay, there is a two factors there. Wait for delay is the time interval. Other one is the time. Okay, time. Using the raise error statement. Raise error. You use the raise error statement to generate an error message. Okay, if you have some error, then generate for the error message. You will typically want to do this if an error is occurred in one of your stored procedure or any other. Okay, which you will see how to use later in section creating the stored procedure. Okay, that we will study in the stored procedure. Then we can use for that. Okay, raise error. Errors happen, don't do something like that you can use. Okay, already we use the error function. This is the raise error statement. Raise error statement. Okay, raised error, number, description. Okay, severity or state. Then where is the place happen, like everything you can get. When the number, if the error number when must be between, okay, this line. Okay, this is the range. Then you can, the description of the message cannot execute the 400 characters. Okay, some then you can, okay. Usually the character number is the 255 maximum characters, some places. Then you cannot exceed that line. The severity is the degree of the error. What's the error? 0 to 18. 18 is the most server error. The statement is the arbitrary value that must be between 1 to 1 and 127 and represent information about the invocation state of the error. What is the error like? Okay, the following example shows that error statement. Raised error. Okay, that like, okay, no row with the product ID, weight was found 1 to 10. Okay, then you can use for the raise error. Now we come for the cursor. Okay, this is also important. What is the cursor like? Okay, when you execute the select statement, all the row are returned in one. Okay, once. If you select that, okay, use the select statement and execute, you can, if you want to get the 10 record like, then it immediately is the 10 record are displayed. Okay. Okay, this might not always be appropriate. Sometimes not appropriate, okay, not suitable for some program. Therefore, we are using for the cursor. For example, you might want to take some action based on the column value retrieved for a particular row. To do this, you can use for the cursor to, okay, process the row retrieve, okay, retrieve from database one by one row at a time. Particular time only retrieve the one row. Then we use for the cursor. Okay, this is the cursor function. Then you can, okay, retrieve. If you use select statement, immediately you get the whole record. But some situation want to get the record, one record row. One record means that's what we call the row. Okay, one row at a time. Then we use the cursor process. The cursor allow you to step. We use the cursor function. We use as a cursor function. Allow you to step through the row returned by particular select statement. Okay, inside we use the select statement, but that is okay. Give the one by one. Okay, at a one row at a time. Particular time only one row you retrieve. We have the 5 steps to follow when using a cursor. First one, you want to declare variable to store the column value for the select statement. First one, you want to declare the variable to store the column value from the select statement. Second, declare the cursor. Specify your select statement. Want to declare the cursor. Then open your cursor. Then fetch the row from your cursor. Then you can want to read that row. Then you fetch the row from your cursor. Then close your cursor. When you open the cursor, you want to close that cursor. Then we have the 5 steps. First one, declare the variable to store the column value from the select statement. Then declare the cursor, specify your select statement. Open your cursor, fetch the row from your cursor, and close your cursor. This is the 5 steps. Okay. Now one by one, we are going to discuss one by one. First, okay, declare variable to store the column value from the select statement. We want to declare. This variable must be compatible with the column type of the retrieve row. Okay, already mentioned you want to match for the column type. If you declare variable, then it will be matched to the data type, matched to the column data type. Okay, otherwise, now you can, for example, you will want to use an int variable to store the value from in column and so on. Okay, if integer values they are in the column value, then you want to declare that variable also integer type. The following example, declare 3 variable to store the product table. Okay, product ID, product name, unit price in the product table. Okay, then 3 variable. Then we want to create the 3 variable. Okay, declare 3 variable. Declare at my product int. Product ID is a int. Okay. So, okay, you see here is the table. Okay, table has the attribute as a product ID, product name, and unit price. Now here I declare this a variable name. Okay, you don't use the same name for the add product ID. It's a add my product ID. Okay, but it is related to the this. We are going to store. Okay, assign this variable value to product ID. Okay, this is the integer type. This is the name and unit price is the. Then declare at my product name in varchar 40. Okay, then you can check for in the table also you have a number of variable varchar is the 40. number of variable. So 40. It accommodates the 40 characters, 40 letters. Okay, 40 letter characters. Space also character. If you give the space product name, that also character, then you can count. Then it also match with there in the product name. Sometimes in the product name you assign for the INVACHA 20. But now you assign here INVACHA 40. That's there. It want to match to the same data type and number. Declare at my unit price is the money. Okay, it's a money type. Unit price is the money. Okay, now we declare the 3 variable. Okay, first step is the declare variable to store the column value from the select statement. Okay, this one want to use for the select. Okay, select statement. Next is the declare the cursor. A cursor declaration consists of the name that you assign to the cursor and select statement that you want to execute. Okay. Now if the select statement is not okay, the cursor execute. The select statement is not actually run until you open the cursor. Okay, just declaration of the cursor. Okay, declaration of the cursor. After you want to open that cursor, then you can execute the cursor. Okay, fetch that. Okay, just a declaration. You declare your cursor using the declare statement. The following example. Okay, the following example, declare the cursor name, product cursor. Okay, you can use the specific name, easy to identify. Therefore, we are using here this product cursor, I mean that cursor. Okay, interact with that the product table. Therefore, we use the name as a product cursor. You can use the cursor 1, cursor 2, like, but it is difficult to identify. Okay, which cursor? This one is easy to, okay, this is a product cursor. Okay, you can click. Your mind is easy to remember. This is a click. Okay, this is going to use for the product table. This cursor going to use for the product table. This is a product cursor with a select statement that retrieve the product ID, product name, and unit price. Okay, we want to retrieve the data one by one. Okay, at the row. Then we use that is the this product cursor. Select statement, unit price from the first 10 product from product table. Okay, 10. Then declare product cursor, cursor 4. Okay, declare product cursor 4. Then select statement, product ID, product name, unit price. Okay, we are going to retrieve this data, product ID, product name, and unit price. Then here is the declare product cursor. This is a name, cursor 4. Then select statement. Okay, select statement from which table and condition. This is select statement. Product table where product ID greater than, sorry, less than or equal 10. Less than or equal 10. This is the declaration of the cursor. Now it's declare the cursor. We want to open that cursor. Okay. Now it's time to open your cursor, which run the select statement. Previously defined the declare statement. Okay, previous you declare. Okay, declare. This is the cursor is declare. Or we are using for this cursor in the retrieve for some record from the product table. Okay, retrieve some record from product table. Then now it's time to open your cursor, which run the select statement previously defined in the declare statement. Then you open the cursor. You can use for the open statement. Open statement. The following example, open the product cursor and therefore also run the select statement that retrieve the row from the product table. Then you can use for the open cursor. Open product cursor. This is name as a open product cursor. Now open that cursor. then you want to fetch the row from the cursor. Okay, you want to retrieve the row one by one. Now you must read each row from your cursor. Okay, you create the cursor, you want to read the row. To do this, you use the fetch statement. Fetch statement, you want to do that. Your cursor may contain many rows and therefore a while loop is required. Okay, you want to have 10 record. That's it. Select statement as a 10 records there. Then you want to read the each row in turn. Okay, in turn. Then you determine when the loop is to end. Okay. Then if your loop is end, then you want to stop that reading. You want to stop that reading. Then you use for this function at fetch status. Okay, fetch status. What is the you are in the loop and in last row. Then no more rows there. Then you want to stop. Okay, determine when the loop is to end. The while loop, we are using the while loop also. When then we use check for the you are going to end for that cursor. Then you want to close that cursor. Okay, there are 3 values there. Fetch statement is there. Okay, fetch status function is there. It returns the 3 values. Okay, this is the function. Okay, I already mentioned if you use for the double add sign. Single add sign is the variable. Double add sign is here is the function. Then if 0, fetch statement successfully return a row. Okay, there as a row is there, is return for, read that row. Okay, then if you -1, the fetch statement failed or requested row on to outside, okay, outside the result set. Okay, -2, row fetch was missing. There are no row or something like. Then if 0 is there, then it is return the row. Okay, read the row. If not equal 0, then there are no rows. So we can mention there are no row. Okay, no row return. Then you can use this function value in the while loop. Now you can see here the following example show loop that okay read each row from the row. Okay, fetch. Okay, fetch next from product cursor. Okay, fetch next from product cursor into add product ID, add product name, and add product. These are the 3 variables. And print. Okay, print this one to okay. This add product, my ID, and product name, and some. Okay, you can get that row. Begin fetch next from product cursor. Okay, first want to check, okay, get that one rows. Then again check there are rows there or not. Okay, while loop is there, while at fetch status is 0. Okay, if you have, okay, get the row. Already I mentioned here is the 0 is the fetch statement successfully return a row. If the 0, then there are rows there. Okay, it's return the row, retrieve the row, then print. Otherwise, you end. Okay, it's a loop, continuously check. You can retrieve the one more rows. If you only use this one, only you retrieve, okay, retrieve the 1 rows at that, okay, only 1 rows. But this one is the again. Okay, but if you use the cursor, 1 row at the time, you retrieve 1 row is the specific time. But you know our program is running for the millisecond or sometimes nanosecond. Some fast machine is there, is the nanosecond is execute some process. Or millisecond, some slow machine is a millisecond. Then that is a specific time. Millisecond mean 1000 millisecond is a second. 1000 millisecond is a second. You use a 100 millisecond like 1/10 second. 1/10 second. Okay, you imagine what's the speed of the. Okay, some are doing the 10 millisecond process like. Okay, now you can see here fetch next from product cursor. Now it is the into add product ID, my product name, and my unit price. Then you can get. Then now you retrieve. Already the cursor has a select statement. Okay, select statement. There is a what are the attribute want to retrieve, which table, and where condition is there, where close. That's a number of records. Okay, number of records. Then only first retrieve the first record. Then won't retrieve the other record. Then we use the while loop. It is here is the use for the fetch status. Is the check there are many more rows there. Then you want to execute that cursor. Okay. Now is the fetch statement. After that, you want to close this product cursor. Okay. You will notice that the condition of fetch status fetch status 0 is used to in the while loop. If the check that is the fetch status statement successfully return the row. Okay, fetch status successfully return the row means here is the while loop. Here this is the condition. Condition mean if you retrieve the row is the equal, this is the 0 is the condition. If you row is there, is the condition is true. Row is not there, it is not satisfied, here is the 0, not is 0. Then the condition is false. Okay, it is not satisfied the while loop. Now you can see while loop check the fetch statement successfully return row when this condition is no longer true. The loop is end. Okay, then you can get the number of rows shown in the cursor using the add cursor row function. Okay, you can use that as a number of rows you can see for the add cursor row function. Okay, now you want to close, open the cursor, then you want to close your cursor. Close your cursor using the close statement. The following example, close the product cursor. Close product cursor. Close product cursor. Then you should also remove the reference to your cursor using the deallocate statement. Okay. Now you know if the computer, if you create some of this also cursor also some one of the function. If you create the function, this is closed like the function is there in your memory. Then you want to remove that reference, then you can use for the deallocate state. You want to remove that. Okay, it is free the system resource used by the your cursor. Okay, the system free to remove that resources in the system. Okay, from the your computer. Then deallocate state. Okay, that's optionally, but you if you the Visual Studio, we are using the C# also. If you create any object or something, if you after finish that task, then that is not necessary for for feature in the features also in the futures. Then you can remove that record. Object. Then you can use for the destroy. Yeah, also here also deallocate means remove from the following example. Remove the reference to the product cursor. Then you can deallocate product cursor. Okay, it is here is this is the command deallocate. It is the symbol letters or capital letters is okay, but this is the object name, function name, product cursor. This is the case sensitive. Case sensitive. Okay, this is the one. Okay, the Same 5 steps are here in the one view. Okay. First, we want to declare the variable. You want to use that Northwind database. First, want to declare the variable. Okay, what are the variable want to retrieve? Sorry, what are the attribute? You want number of attribute. Then you add at the same number of attribute you want to declare the variable. Okay. The time want to assign that variable the different value. That's the way we are using the variable. First, want to declare the variable, and second, declare the cursor name, cursor for the select statement is there. Product ID, product name, unit price from product, where product ID less than or equal 10. Then open that product cursor and fetch the row from the cursor. Then fetch means fetch next from product cursor, the cursor name, fetch next from. Then into product cursor into add this is the variable. Okay, 3 variable are there. That 3 variable want to get the output. Then you use the print statement. Without print statement, only you retrieve the data, but you didn't get any display. Okay, print product name, unit price. Then want to check you have more rows are there or not. Only here is only one row you get. Here is the only get the more rows. Then want to check is the any other rows are there, while loop, and do that. The step 5, close the cursor. Close that cursor. Then you can see in our example. Okay, you can run this statement in the SQL Server. Now you can get that one by one. Okay, any errors? Okay, this is the same comments. We are using double hyphen the dash. Okay, now it's okay. Okay, because you want to use the Northwind MIG because the database is table from this particular database. Okay, this table, product table from the Northwind database. Okay, now I run that. I will. Okay, now we retrieve the one by one record. One by one record. Here is a 1. This is a second record. It's a third. Okay, one row at a time. Then we are using for the cursor. Okay, in the cursor, there are 5 steps. Want to declare the variable. Okay, how many attribute? How many number of attribute want to retrieve? Then that amount. Okay, that number of amount you use here. Declare that amount number of variable here. Okay, you want to retrieve the 5 attribute. Then you want to declare here 5 variable. Then after that you want to declare the cursor with the select statement, which row, okay, which record want to retrieve. Okay, where that record going to retrieve. Then we use the select statement. Then open that cursor. The third steps, fourth steps, you want to read that rows. Then fetch next from product cursor into is the 3 variable. That 3 variable is the value and get the output. Okay, then here we use that is a while loop. Okay, without while loop. Okay, I remove this one. What happened? End is okay. Okay. Only first record is there. You can see. But in the statement, we have there is a where product ID less than or equal 10. But we have already know there's 10 records are there, but is the only one. Only one record. Okay, fetch. Do that here. If you use that while statement, okay, while statement is a loop. Okay, again continue this line. Now you can get the 10 records up to 10. Okay. There are already 5 steps. First one, to declare the variable in the cursor function, declare the cursor, open the cursor, fetch the row from the cursor, then finally close that cursor. Close the particular cursor. Okay, now we come for the using the function. Okay, already we are using the function. Some other function also you can use. The introduction to function. Introduction to function. The SQL Server provides the number of functions you can use to get the value from the database. Okay, then SQL Server provides some number of functions. Okay, we call that a system function. That's a system. For example, you can use for the count. That also function. Average, sum. Okay, already you familiar. Count, average, minimum, maximum. That's the function. Function to get the number of row in the table. The various functions are split into the categories. Okay, functions are the categories. You can see here is a function categories aggregate, return information based on the one or more rows in the table. Mathematical function. Okay, square root, something, a lot of functions are there. Perform calculation. String. Perform the string manipulation. Okay, we study that some string mode is like. That's a check. Here also we can manipulate some string. Date and time. Work with the database and time. System. Return the information on the SQL Server. Okay, we want to read our system time, something like that. We use the system. Configuration. Return the information for the configuration of the server. Cursor. Return the information on the cursors. Metadata. Return the information on the database. Okay, database means the data. Okay, information about the database. This is the metadata. Security. Return the information on the database user and roles. System, statistical, and text and image. These are the various functions. Yeah. Now you will learn about the first 5 functions. Okay, the other category of function are beyond the scope of this course. Okay, not necessary. You won't need to use for the function. Okay, aggregate function. Earlier you saw that use the count aggregate function to get the number of rows. Count and some other aggregate function you can use for the SQL Server. The expression you may pass to aggregate function is the typically single column, but it can be calculate the field. Okay, number of rows are there. There's a count. All mean that the function is applied to all the column value, while the district mean that the function is apply only a unique value. All in the default. Okay, then count the number of rows are there. Now is the aggregate from the average. aggregate function average. It's automatically okay. Adds a particular column is there. Is the total salary is there. Then we want to get that average salary. Then add the number of rows. How many rows are there? Add that all values and divide by number of rows. That is average. Okay, this is we call this aggregate function. Already the SQL Server had this function. Count big. Okay, return the number of value. Group count big, return a. Okay, big int data type. Maximum, minimum, sum, standard deviation. Okay, this is a standard deviation population. Var. Okay, variance for the values. Var P, the variance for the population. Okay, these are some aggregate functions. Okay, already this function is there. Directly you can use. We study in now also. We can create our own function also. We can write our own function because the many calculation is going to need for your program. Then you can create your own function. Okay, using for the aggregate function. Okay, I skip that one already. You use for the average, sum, everything. Okay, count. For example, the following statement get the average of the unit price column. Okay, I refresh something here. Select average unit price from product. Okay, you can get the unit price, average unit price. Average unit price. The example return this line. Since all in the default use, okay, with the function, this function use every row in the product table when perform the calculation. If you want to just use the unique values in the calculation, then use for the distinct option. Here, average distinct unit price. Okay, it is equate to the same price. Okay, from the product table. Then you can get that is a 30.91. It is okay, it's slightly higher the previous result because of only unique value are used this time. Okay, some values again same, like not use them. Okay, then you can use the average function. In addition to pass the column a function, you can also pass the calculate field. For example, using the statement pass the calculation unit price into 1.20 to the average function. Okay, already the unit price there. Now you see some time. Okay, time to time the price is going to vary. Okay, now you can see that the biscuits, everything time to time. Okay, every 6 months or something, the government also increase the price. Then you want to change that field. Okay, if you get that how much average price, then you can use the unit price into 1.2, then 20% increase. The unit price going to increase the 20%. Each unit price, then unit price into 1.2. Average price also going to change. But this example returned 34.19. The average after the unit price value has been increased 20%. 20%. It's calculation also you can use inside. Okay, you can limit the row passing to the function using the where clause. Okay, previous all thing, but you can use for the up to select average unit price from product where category ID is 1. Only particular. Okay, for example, want to get that cost fees, average cost fees we get from the ICT degree. Then where ICT degree is ICT, then we can get the average cost price. Okay, cost thing we can get. That's like we can make. The example return 37.97. You can combine the function with the group by. Okay. Close to perform the calculation on each group of the rows. For example, the following select statement, calculate the average unit price value from each block of the row group by category ID. Okay, sometimes you want to make for this the group by, want to get the total amount of the registration fees. Then in our university has a 13 graduate program, 13 graduate program. Then we want to get the category wise, group by course. Okay, sum of the total sum of the course fees or registration fee. Select average unit price from product group by category ID. Okay, average price from product table group by category ID. Then you can get the category ID, then how much price. Okay, average price. You can also supply the having clause to eliminate the group using the select statement. Okay, you want to eliminate some clause or some values. For example, the following statement at the having clause. Okay, if you use the group by, you can use for the having. Without group, you cannot use for the having. Okay, average value. Then here, select average unit price from product group by category ID having unit price more than 50. Okay, which category ID average unit price more than 50 is displayed. Others are not displayed. Then you can restrict the number of rows. Therefore, we are using the group by where clause. Like, but otherwise the select average unit price from product mean is the average unit price for the all record. This example returned 54 point something. Okay, it is increasing. More than. Use the aggregate function. Let's take a look at the some other aggregate function. Here you can total number of row count. It's a count function, number of rows. How many rows from the product table? 77 is there. Maximum, minimum. Okay, maximum unit price, maximum, like you can get the minimum and maximum unit price. Max unit price, mini unit price. Okay, we call this a built-in function. Already the function is there in the SQL Server. We use that. Their category is also there. This is a built-in function. Using aggregate function, sum. Okay, these are already you studied in semester 1. Okay, I mentioned here the select supply ID sum unit price as sum unit price, because if you sum like it come for the one column without name. Okay, not proper name. That you want to display the proper name is sum unit price. You can use for the as keyword and unit price from product group by supplier ID. Supplier ID. You can get group by clause of this example. Return the one row for each block of the row with the identify supplier ID column. Okay, we can run this program also. Use. Okay, what is the difference there? Okay, we want to know that. Okay, user not been database, select supply ID, sum this like. Okay, now you run here. You can get the sum price, this like supply ID 1 to 29 is there. Then sum of this like. Okay, without this one, as keyword. There is no column name, but here display the same thing. Okay, but if you display, okay, if you get this report or something, do you, okay, someone didn't know what is this? What is this column? Some values are there, but we don't know what is the column. Therefore, better then Okay, you can assign the new column name as a as keyword because this is the new column. Sum is the unit price. Why this space is in it? It's the one word. Okay, you can use here is a count. Okay, use a stick mark. Okay, without this as also. And this one. Okay, it, 5 records are there and the supply ID for supply ID 5 items. They are product like something. Okay, we don't know what is there. Then you can use for the as number of product. Number of product or something like you can make. Okay, right now it's okay. They know supply ID, this supplier supply 5 product. This two second supplier supply 4 product. Then like you can see that. Then you only need to make that as keyword is better. In the report we are using mostly make that report that like okay. Sum return 47 group were the supply is like this is the sum of the unit price column value for all the row where supply ID is 1. So, similarly, sum return 81 where supply ID is 2 and so on. Like that you can category wise you can use for the group by supply. Using mathematical function. Mathematical function allow you to perform numerical operation such as getting the absolute value of the number. Okay, if you have negative and positive value, yeah, you can make for the absolute function for the get the only positive value. Okay, negative also convert to the positive value. There are several mathematical functions implemented in the SQL Server. The expression you may pass to the mathematical function is typically a single column or value, but it can also be calculate the field. Now you can see here absolute cos return the okay arc cosine okay as a time a 10 is ceiling okay cos cot okay there are many mathematical functions here we are using the arithmetic function also here log random power okay to the power 8 then what is the power function 5 square root. This is the mathematical function. Okay, these are the building functions in the SQL Server. Okay, I skip this one. You can read. What is that? Yeah. Okay, now these are the function in the left, right, lower, everything. Okay, this is the string function. Okay, the string function allow you to manipulate the string. Okay, for example, you can replace a specific character in a string. Here, ASCII character, return the ASCII code. Okay, leftmost character of the char expression. Okay, index. Particular string you can wear like this, you can use the char index. Okay, left, right, trim. Okay, you want to remove the space, white space, and remove any leading space. Okay, lot of functions are there. This also you can use in the particular places. Okay, I also skip. You already know the ASCII function. 6797 is a capital A and A. That's why you can get the value. Yeah. Okay, date. The date and time function allow you to manipulate the date and times. Date and time. For example, you can add a number of the day to given the day. Okay, date at return the date time is the results of adding the specific number of interval you need. You can add the date add. Okay, date difference interval. Okay, you want to get the start date and end date particular project. Okay, going to start this date and end this date. Then interval you can get date difference. So your age, calculate the age. Then date difference we can get. Okay, date name. That's the day to day or interval part of it. The interval date. Date part. Interval and date. Return the integer that represents the interval part of the date. Day. Okay, return the integer that represents the day part of the date. Okay, get date. Return the date time contain the current system date. Okay, the system date now you can get now. That's a printing. Now you want to use your ATM card. Then it is print for your time and date. Then get date function. Then this print for the particular time you okay withdraw your money or you deposit that money. This is the get date. Month, year, everything is there. Okay, okay, you can use anywhere. Okay, you can read this one. I not too much spent for here, but you want to know what other functions are there. Now system function. System function allow you to manipulate and obtain the information about the value, object, and setting in the SQL server. For example, you can convert the value one type to another type. Convert. Collapse. Okay. Date length. Data length. At error. Already you know this some function already. This is the error function. Identity is a return last identity value. Okay. Return the last identity value means the auto number. Identity. Okay. Some row count. Branch count. How many number of transaction is over in the database. Okay, we call this the system function. Okay, using that system function, you can convert one data type to another data type. Okay, you can select is date, is num, check the number of this line. Okay, some system function. Now create the user defined function. This is important for you. This user can define your own function. Okay, because the system create the function, you cannot do any changes. That's a fixed. Okay, that's a permanent function is there. You can use and you cannot modify that function. You can use some calculation 2 times, 3 times. You can use that line, but some other calculation you own data you can use and create your function and create your user-defined function. There are 3 type functions are there. Okay, you can create your own user-defined function in the SQL Server. The following, you might want to create your own function to compute, okay, the discount price given the original price and factor. Okay, the particular season want to increase the number of sales. Okay, want to get the profit. Then they are you can usually in the New Year season they make the discount sales something. Then you want to know then how to make that. That is we going to their own function. You create the function using the create function statement. You create the function, then after you can use that function. Then user defined. There are 3 types of user defined function. One is the scalar function. It is return the only single value. Scalar function return a single value. The return value can be of any data type, except for the text. Okay, index, an image, cursor, table, something. Not that one. It's any value data type. Integer, double. That's okay. This is the user-defined function. Scalar function. Inline table value function. It returns the one row. Okay. In table value function, return an object on the table type. Okay, you can think a table as a regular database table. Except it is stored in memory. Okay, so it is not stored in the memory. And inline table function can return the results retrieved by only a single select statement. Okay, only here we are using only single select statement. You can return that value, retrieve the value. Okay, results single select statement. But multi-statement table value is a inline is a single statement. You can use the multi-statement select statement to your return the value for the function. This is the multi-statement table value function. Return an object of the table type. Okay, unlike 10 inline table value function, a multi-statement table value function can contain the multiple T-SQL statement. Here only one select statement is there, but here multi T-SQL statement. Okay, we had 3 type of function: user-defined function, scalar function, inline table value function, multi-statement table value function. Multi-statement table value. And one by one we can see here using scalar function. The scalar function return the single value, the discount price .SQL script that create the discount price function. Okay, which return the original price of the item multiplied by the discount factor. Okay, original unit price is there, but you want to get the multiply by the discount factor. Okay, so now you can see here these values are passed as a parameter to the discount price function. You can load this file into the query analysis and run it. Okay. If you create the function is in your database. You can drop and delete the function. Okay, you can also delete the function using the drop function. You can modify alter function. Already functions create. Okay, for example, the discount functions are there, but they are putting for the 10% for the discount, but the sales is not increased. Then after that, management people think about want to increase the discount factor. Then want to alter. You can change the statement. Okay. Otherwise, if it's not possible to change, then you want to drop the function and create the new function. Create new function. Then you can see here, this is the discount function. Then create function. This is the function in discount price. Okay, discount price. Here we are passing the 2 parameters. One is the at Okay, this is a variable like at original price as a money and discount as a float. Discount factor, that's a discount. Return money. Return type also, that's a value as a money type. As begin return original price into discount. Okay, return for that's the original price. Okay, multiply by discount factor discount and it. Okay. Okay. Then now you create the function. Okay. After this create function, you want to use. Once you create the function, you can call it. When call the scalar function, you use the following syntax. Owner dot function name. Okay, you are the owner, so DB owner, DB owner. When owner is the database user who owns the function and function name is the name of the function. Let's say you create the discount price function and use the DBO user. You are the DBO user. You are the default user. That's a DBO user. Then you call the function using the DBO.discount price. Okay, discount price. The following example, return this line. Okay, you can pass the discount price 10 into 03. Return 3. Okay, discount price is this line. Select DBO discount price 10, 0.3. This is a discount factor. Okay, then you can get the results as a 3. Okay. Okay, this function we can use from the product table where first product want to reduce that unit price. Okay, want to reduce the unit price. Now is the unit price is the 18. You want to reduce for the 5.4. Okay, 5.4 percentage. Okay, sorry, that's a 30% you want to reduce. Then the new price come for the, you can calculate the new price is the discount unit price minus discount price. Then you can get the new price. Okay, new price. That also you can. Now you can create that function. Okay, now we are going to create the function. Now you can see here we are having any function in the database. Let's get the function programmatically. Okay, this is the store procedure. Is there? Yes, some procedure is there. Custom whatever, right? Okay, function, table value function, scalar function. Discount price is there. I can remove this function first. Delete. Okay, no any function. This is the table record. Okay, already the function is there. Can't create the same function. Therefore, I am going to remove. Okay, okay, you can see the function. What is the function type? Is there? It's aggregate function, system function. Okay, inside the system function, aggregate function, configuration function, cursor function, date and time function, mathematical function. You see? Okay, then here also you can check what other function is there, that description, parameters, expression. Okay, you can use that absolute, cosine, everything, this function. Okay, then now you can see here there are no any function. Now I want to create this function first. Okay, I want to create this function. Then that's what is the name? Create function name as a discount. Then these are the inside return money. Some calculation is here. This is the own function. Okay. Then you can okay. Then I use that Northwind database. We are going to create that function under the Northwind database. Okay. Incorrect syntax. Okay. Okay, I want to refresh. It's already obtained the name of the database. That's the problem. I already delete it and refresh. The function is there. Okay, anyway, we can execute, run this function. It's a problem, something. It's already there. Discount in the name. Okay, close and open it. Stop this debug. Yeah, wait. We already function scalar function. There are no any function, but it is not happen to delete. Refresh. This is already there. There's a discount function. Yeah. By the table set. No. Okay, anyway, I want to close and open again. It is not reflect that. Okay, it will take a little time, wait. Okay, in this example, another example, I will finish that your lectures. Now you can see database. Okay, now you can, here right click, new queries. Okay, if you use this new queries, if you run this program, it is related for this particular database. Okay. That is not necessary. Okay. Okay, create this one. Okay, now it's no error. It is not reflect. Now you can run this. Okay, now you can get the command complete successfully. Completed successfully, then there are no any error. Now you can see there are function. Let's go. That function is here. Okay. Now, okay, calling the scalar function, it is this way. Now we can use the parameter also. Okay, then you can, okay, you can of the course also pass the variable as a parameter to a function. Okay, then declare add discount and plot. Okay, that discount factor. Okay, unit price and at discount factor. Then we can use from product where this. Okay, then now you can pass this variable here. Okay, to variable here, discount factor here. Okay, unit price it get from the product table. Okay, but the factor, discount factor is the my discount factor as a 0.3. Then here is a discount factor. Okay, you can now is the using the inline table value function. An inline table value function return an object of the table type, which is populate using a single select statement. Okay, this is unlike this scalar function. Inline table value function does not contain a body of the statement placed with the begin and end of the statement also. Now you can see only single select statement is there. You want to use this the product to be reorder. You want to make for the reorder things, then we can use for the function as a product to be reorder function. This function returns the table contain the row from the product table which are unit stock column value less than or equal to order level. Okay, level parameter passed to the function. Here you can see here, create the function product to be reordered. This is the reorder level integer return table. Okay, return table, but previous the return values, money returns, that's a column type, but the data type. You see here return table as return select product. Okay, all attribute from product where unique. Okay, unit in stock less than or equal reorder level. Reorder level. Then you can create that function. Then that function you can use. Okay, then you can use for the if your reorder level is a 10. Okay, unit in price, sorry, in stock. Okay, that reorder level is less than 10, you want to reorder, otherwise not necessary to reorder. Now you can create this function, is the okay scalar function, but here we are using the select one single select statement. Okay, single select statement. The previous example, okay, there is some calculation only. Okay, begin return this level. Okay, some calculation, but it return for the money is a single value. But in here, is the return for the table. Okay, row. Okay, table records. Then that also you can create the new function. Create a function product to be reordered. Now you can see here there are no any table function. If you run, execute. Okay, completed successfully. Then your function is okay. Okay, I want to refresh. Otherwise, not reflect that. Okay, now the function is here. Okay, product to be reordered. Product to be reordered. Okay, unlike the scalar function, you don't have to add the owner when you call an inline table value function. You can use select statement to read the table returned by the function as you would any other table. For example, then you can call that function product to be reorder is a 10. Okay, you can of the course also display only selected column and row from the table return. Select product ID, product name, unit in stock from product to be order. Okay, less than 10 or something. Then you can use the product ID only first 50 orders. You can check which rows have unit in stock less than 10. Multi-statement table value function. The multi-table value function return the object of the type. Okay, table type. Unlike an inline table function, value function can be contain multiple t-square statement. Okay, in here we can use for the multiple. Then the function name as a product to be order 2. Okay, now you can here this function return the table containing the product ID, product name, unit in stock column from the product table with the unit stock column value less than or equal to reorder level. Okay, then here we are using some additional new column also name as a reorder. You want to make the reorder it's like okay, then here you can see here create the function. There are reorder level is integer return at product table. Okay, we make here is that table name. Okay, at my product table. This is the table name of the table. The previous there are only table like return table. You can see there. Okay, return table as return this line. Okay, but here we give that name. Okay, table product ID, int product name, unit in stock, and reorder and Vaja as begin. Okay, then we will retrieve the row from the product table and insert them into the my product table. Okay, then my product table. This is the new table. Okay, create. They insert into at my product. Select product ID, product name, unit in stock, no from the product table. Okay. Then if you are at reorder level, update my product table, set the reorder years. Okay, first we want to create the table, all unit in stock is no. Okay, the last column, but set a column here, the table reorder. Okay, unit in stock, small int, reorder num, okay, in Vacha, the yes or no. Okay, reorder is yes or no, this is the new column. Is created here you can see here that is a line function product table where unit column is less than equal, right? Okay, you can see here this is the new rows. In addition, new column, sorry, not new row, column name reorder is the added to the table which contain yes or no. Good, yes or no depend on the return for the order. Okay, reorder level. Then first want to put that reorder is a no. Then check the condition. If you set the reorder as yes, unit in stock, units in stock less than or equal reorder level. Okay, in that particular table, the product table has the reorder level. That reorder level is less than, sorry, unit in stock less than or equal 10, then you want to put that as a reorder as yes. Is the more than like that reorder is the no. Reorder is the no. Then you can go. Then as with the inline table value function, you don't have to add the owner when calling the inline table value function. Use select statement to read the table returned by the function as you would any other regular database. Okay. The following example, select the statement, display all the row of the column, return the function called product to be reorder to. Select from product to be reorder to. Okay. Then you can get a then why you want to create that this function also. Okay, both are we can run. Okay, we want to create this another function. Okay, send this there, right? Now execute. Also complete successfully. Now you can see. Again, I want to refresh. Okay, 2 is there. First, want to call the first function and what are the results you can get. Then second, you can check. By product to be reorder. Okay, now you can get which one less than 10. Unique in stock. Equal or less than 10, you can. Okay. Here this line. Okay, then if you execute the second function, we can get the additional. Yes or no, that's a reorder level. Reorder. Now here we can get the reorder level. This is no, because more than this like, okay, I put the 20, I want to put the 10. Right, okay, execute. Now you can see here, in the unit in stock 39, they are not necessary to reorder. But if you 0 is like, if you 15, okay, it's 6, you want to reorder. Okay, this is the way if the supermarket, they have this of that. If you check the unit in stock is less than something, then they want to order that particular product. Then we only need for that function. Okay. If you execute that function, okay, call the function, then every day they can, because every day they want to need check. Okay, today sales is over. That tomorrow want to check how many items are there, then want to make order. Okay, this is the example. Number of items need for that particular soap. Okay, on hand. Okay. Now I'm going to stop.